Yeah. Have you talked to Charlie since the show wrapped and gotten that whole situation squared away with?
I did, and I have talked to him, and it was squared away for a second, but then all of a sudden he saw the show, and then it was cool, and then it fed up into like more of a rage, and then it was cool, and then all of a sudden he wants to fight me again. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, you wouldn't benefit me to fight you, bro. I'm like, yeah, don't make me fight you. You know, a lot of
you
people
won the show and he couldn't make it.
What's that?
Like you won the show and he couldn't get a spot on the finale, so it doesn't really make sense for you to go that route.
Exactly. So that's the thing. Is like if he wants to go spar, let's go fucking organize the sparring and let's do something for like a non-profit type of thing, and let's put the winnings towards something where it's actually good. You know, we can do something like that. But I'm not trying to get somebody's head on UFC again. You know what I mean? Handle your stuff, homie. Do what you have to do, and let me do me right now. Because you know, if you want to fight, then you're taking away from stuff. You know, time, bro. I'm trying to help you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to keep busy.
Go ahead.
Same thing. No, that's just it. I'm just trying to keep busy, man. I want to make sure that I don't waste this opportunity because I worked very hard for it. That's all I've been doing. I haven't made excuses, man. I've been very careful with myself and making sure that I do the right thing. Why? Because I do want to set an example. I want to do the right thing, you know, and I want to have kids eventually, and I want to do it right for them, man. Why not? Because this is our future, bro.
Exactly.
You know, there's nothing else like that.
Yeah, you know, so after the controversy happened, how did you focus just on your next fight, considering that was the fight? I think the fight after that was the one. Yeah. I mean, how did you focus on that fight with everyone in the house kind of turning against you and just, you know, focusing on the fight and the strategy?
Well, the one thing that I always do is, like, whenever my parents ever grounded me or anything like that, you know, because, you know, if I didn't make the grades right, or if I did something small, my parents were very hard on me, bro. One thing I did is I kept to myself, and was like, if I was on restriction or anything else, I didn't have, like, music. I didn't have, like, video games. I didn't have anything to be on my side. But the one thing I did have was, like, my ability to go and train and run. I'd do anything athletic or, like, to get rid of that extra energy. And I did it by myself, and, you know, it was the same thing I did in that house. It was funny. It's so funny how, like, you know, your parents are always like, hey, you know, you're going to thank me for one, you know, for right now. And I do. I thank them so much, not for grounding me, but, like, for, like, actually giving me that discipline to be able to put my mind somewhere else, think of all the clear things, write in my book, draw in my book, eat healthy, sleep right, and train harder than anybody at that house has ever done. I guarantee you can't tell them nobody has ever trained harder than I did when I was there.
Oh, man. That's pretty crazy. So, I mean, your fight was against a teammate, Chuck O'Neal. How did the practices exactly work for that? Because I don't know if Brock was very hands-on with you or Tony. I mean, not you, Tony. You or Chuck.
Nobody was.
You know, how did that work?
It was me versus Chuck versus 6 other people inside that house. They all had hands, eyes, and ears for that guy. It was only until Nordine and basically Javier Torres till the fight where everybody was just kind of they were chill, man. They were like, all right, we ain't dealing with Tony. We're going to help Ramsey, and then we're going to help Cope and Chuck. Because I kind of pissed everybody off. It was my fault. But you know what just made me that much stronger? I mean, I hate to say that made me that much stronger. The only reason it did is because I survived it. But I tell you what, it was hard to be able to not train in the house, train anywhere else, not having sparring partners, no grappling partners, no rolling partners, no nothing. I'm going to give you
everyone's kind of abandoned you.
Yeah, everybody's gone.
Wow.
So, look, I tell you what, for me, beating up Chuck like that, it pissed me off, man. And the one thing was like, I don't like to get mad, especially, you know, like when I'm hitting the bags, you know how somebody tells you, get mad when you hit this stuff. We're not supposed to. You're not supposed to let emotion evolve into, like, a sport. Why? Because it's technical. Look what happened with Kobe, you know, he plays like crap.
Right.
You know, when you play loose and you play right, you play like a Laker. You play like, that's what me, Grand Valley Lakers, man, Grand Valley State. You know, and it's funny that I bring that correlation, but when you play like you, any sport, regardless of what sport it is, when you play like you and not the person that you're trying to be, oh, you play good. I ain't no villain. You know, I'm an athlete. I'm a scholar athlete. And you know what? I'm 3-time All-State state champ, 2-time All-American and national champ. You know, I'm bled to do this sport, and I love it, man. Mixed martial arts is my shit. I'm sorry. Dana White, hey, you know, I hope he tells me. He said I was a real deal. I am. I got the trophy, and I ain't stopping here. Ramsey was just that stepping stone. They thought I didn't have wrestling. Are you kidding me? It was a magic trick.
All right. So getting back to the semifinal fight with Chuck, you know, the first round was very back and forth, and the second and third round, you took over and you hit him with that body shot in the third, took him out. After Herb Dean pulled you off of him, what was that moment like knowing you had that chance? You had one more fight to go. You were the main event at the Palms, 6 figures. What was that moment like realizing it?
Hey, that moment was huge. The biggest thing that moment was it was a new beginning in my life. And, besides, like, everything just happened for, like, the first time, it was, sorry about that. No, it was a very good feeling, man. What else could you expect from that? The only thing you want is to, like, knock somebody out. But it was like a body shot, and you knew exactly what you had to do afterwards. Which is what? Fight again, right?
Right.
Hello?
Yeah, what's up?
Sorry, bro.
Sorry, man. All right, just let us know when you're good to go.
All right, cool.
All right, so you get in the finale, you're fighting against Ramsey, and you actually went up to Minnesota and trained with Brock Lesnar. What was it like training up there with Team Death Clutch and a team that's very heavyweight oriented? Tell us the differences that were from like Ventura to training in Minnesota.
I threw up a lot. It sucked, man. It was good. I learned a thing or two about a thing or two. And the way I did was I had these guys drive up 2 hours away from their home, wherever their families were at, to come and kick my butt. They were training at Greg Nelson's gym. I wanted to come with Team Death Clutch over in Alexandria, Minnesota. I don't know how much they were exactly paid to come and train with me, but we did grappling. And it was kind of funny. Every time they came up, they kicked my butt, and it sucked. I'm telling you. For weeks on end, these guys would just come up. It was Jake Volkman. He actually got, it was funny, if you look up research, he called out Obama to, like, fight. Somebody's like, who do you want to fight next? And you're like, I want to fight Obama. Well, they showed
and then the Jay Leno thing and all that, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I have a shirt that says Obama for president. I always sport that shirt. It's bright orange. I love it. That guy's awesome. So he was one of the guys that kicked my ass. And, he fights at 155, and he's light, but he's heavy, bro. I'm telling you. Marty Morgan was a coach, handled it very well. He brought in Jake Volkman, and then he brought in Nick Lentz. Nick Lentz, another guy. Ridiculous on the ground, man. Things that I needed to get through, right? Comprito was there, Rodrigo Comprito, which was Brock's coach. I had the full Death Clutch squad. I had Pat Barry that was there training with Brock Lesnar until Brock got hurt, but then Pat agreed to be my striking coach when I was there.
Right.
At Marty Morgan, that he was he's the mad scientist.
Really, yeah. So I guess we'll plug this right now. For any of those, his fight will probably be on Facebook, but next, not this Sunday, but the one after, Nick Lentz is fighting Charles Oliveira, probably on Facebook or YouTube for those who want to check that out. But anyways, talk more about training with Nick Lentz, because he's become under some fire in his career, saying his fights are boring. What was his clinch work like and his ground game? You said it was crazy. Could you get more specific on that?
Hey, when he wanted to be relentless, he could be relentless. Like, he'd want to be on the ground, he'd want to be on the ground. If you were trying to be persistent passing his guard, he'd make you pay for it. He's very patient, very quiet. But I got an opportunity, to drive with him over to the airport one time from Alexandria, and he was very cool. And he was very open. He's an intense kind of guy. But just like it's different than like when you don't allow outsiders or anybody else inside your game. What do? You're gonna be kind of quiet, and maybe that's the transition to his MMA game. He's a little bit more quiet, but wait until somebody pisses him off.
Right.
That's the only thing I can say. When you get Nick mad, you don't want to get mad, or anybody else. He's got a pretty good record, and he's got a pretty good face, and he's a very nice guy. What happens when you do it with nice guys?